Welcome everyone to this CELPIP Speaking Part 1 Giving Advice Analysis. Before we begin, I want to remind you that I will be using the CELPIP Speaking Part 1 Giving Advice Tips and Strategies Guide. You can find this guide in our CELPIP library in the speaking parts. And the one I'm using today is a Part 1 Giving Advice Guide. And this is an instructional video that will explain to you the guide more clearly and how you can use it effectively to answer the question. I will also leave a link to that video in the description box. Now, I'm just going to go through the pages of the guide. And if you want to pause and read it, you can pause the video. The guide explains about reading the question and how you can prepare effectively. Some question notes which are important for this question. And the most important, how you can organize your response. Organizing the response is very important for lower levels so they can have a way to answer the questions. And for higher levels, because the higher level answers are usually very well organized and very well structured. So it's very important. And lastly, what factors which influence your score? What are the parts that are very important that you should know about? Okay, that's also important. Okay, now let's begin. Okay, everyone, let's read today's Part 1 Giving Advice. Question. Preparation time 30 seconds, speaking time 1.5 minutes. Okay. Your friend wants to volunteer at an animal shelter. Sounds like me. That looks after cats and dogs. I love cats and dogs. Okay, I wish I had more than I have. I only have one. Give her advice. So it's a woman. Give her advice on what she should consider before working as a volunteer. Okay. All right, everyone. So let's remember that for this question and for levels 7 to 9, the most important is controlling your speech and being organized. This is very important, particularly for 9 or higher. 9 or higher, they have controlled speaking, especially for part 1. They're able to start and finish in a very well organized way. For that reason, I'm going to be following the CELPIP library guide. Okay, how to organize a response. I use this to my advantage. I know this structure very well. So that's why when I try to answer these questions, or if I had to, I would keep this in mind. Okay? Just we want to keep in mind introducing the question, giving some ideas, and concluding. Very important for higher levels. The more you can control your speaking and provide good ideas and language, that will be the higher the score. Okay? So what I want to do first is introduce the question. If I had to advise my friend about what she should take into consideration if she would like to volunteer at an animal shelter, I'd make some important suggestions. Now, higher levels, we want to talk indirectly, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm talking like if in general I had to advise my friend, okay? So also, I changed the question a little bit. She should take into consideration, okay? It's not so important in the beginning. And in general, for speaking, it's not so important, the vocabulary and the ideas, as much as the overall answer, okay? But just giving you here some good words should take into consideration. Would like to volunteer? Okay, would like to volunteer. All right, so I introduced the question. Now let's get to my first idea. Okay. First of all, I'd suggest that she should brush up on her knowledge of cats and dogs. Good expression, brush up on. So it's always good if you can use an expression. I've said this before. I think this will be my expression today. Brush up on. This means get more information about. Not seriously study it, but brush up on. We have some general information. We have some general knowledge about things, but how about we brush up on it, make it better? That's what it means. Okay. Then we gave an example. For example, she could search online or find some animal books or magazines at the library or bookstore. We gave an example of where she can get that information. Okay, that's good. And then we explained why that's good. This is important because the animal shelter would probably want to hire volunteers that have some basic information of animals, such as the different breeds and how they behave. Okay, maybe here it should be more cats and dogs. I think it could be better to be more specific, cats and dogs, and such as the different breeds, right? And how they behave. Very good. First idea. We gave the idea, we gave an example, and we explained why that's important. Very good structure. Idea, example, explain. That would be a good method, okay? A good template to use. Okay. Oh, I'll have to write it in after. My second one. Here I go with my second idea. Secondly, I suggest that she could spend some time with some friends who have pets or dogs. Okay, good idea. Good idea. We know many of our friends have pets, okay? Particularly dogs or cats. Now, I don't really need an example here because the idea seems clear, okay? So I just gave an explanation. This would be great because in this way, she could get a feel for how she should behave around them more effectively. Okay, so this idea is clearer. Good. Again, I like the idea. And let's keep in mind here something that level 9s definitely need to do using modalities in part 1. Already we see lots of that. Could, should, could, should, would, should. This is important. Okay, very important. 7s, even level 7s, they struggle to use modals. But level 9s, we shouldn't. Let's get to, do we have a third idea? Yes, we do. Last but not least, I think it would be great to visit a vet clinic because they could enlighten her with some important information about cats and dogs, particularly the type of vaccinations they require, allergies, and how to prevent them. Very strong idea. Very strong. Especially here with could enlighten her. Enlighten means increase her knowledge, provide knowledge, get knowledge. Enlighten her. Okay, so I go to the vet clinic, I ask for information about cats and dogs, they tell me, for example, the type of vaccinations, allergies, and how to prevent them. I went there and they provided me some information, they enlightened me. Okay? So everyone, this one I find to be a strong idea. Vocabulary wise, yes, enlighten, vaccinations, allergies. Okay, so, and we just gave the idea here with particularly, that means for example. Instead of such as, we use particularly, okay, or especially we could use. And now let's get to our closing. Okay. Overall, I think the best advice is to definitely have a compassionate and nurturing spirit towards animals. Okay. because this would enable her to always feel excited about volunteering. And the animals would love her back since they have a strong sense for how people feel, especially dogs and cats. Okay. Strong as well here. Compassionate and nurturing, caring spirit towards animals, about animals. It would enable her, it would help her always feel excited about volunteering, right? Okay. And the animals would love her back. Yes, they have a strong sense for how people feel. It's true. Okay, so everyone, again, for some reasons, this answer, in terms of its ideas, vocabulary, is 9 or higher. Sometimes it's 7 or 8. Some things are simple. And overall, for the speaking, well, first, the most important, which I'm going to demonstrate now, is delivery. Being able to speak this answer with in a clear way, with good intonation or more native intonation. That's very important. Delivery. And secondly, of course, if we can provide 3 ideas, which with really strong language, some parts here are strong. We have here, for example, this expression, brush up on. Okay, strong. And if you look at this answer, enlighten here as well, compassion and nurturing spirit, very strong in some parts. Now, level 8s, I don't want you to get 7 or 8s. Don't get scared. This is not what you need for 7 or 8, okay? Even if you gave one idea like this, it would be good. But what I want to say is, in terms of language and in terms of part 1, modals, would, should, could, okay? Could feel, should, would, could. This is very important because this is the language we need when we're giving someone advice. Okay, everyone, so follow along as I repeat this answer in a minute and a half. Particularly, I would focus on the intonation here, which we don't want to sound like we're just one tone because language is not like that, okay? Okay, so here I go. If I had to advise my friend about what she should take into consideration if she would like to volunteer at an animal shelter, I'd make some important suggestions. First of all, I'd suggest that she should brush up on her knowledge of cats and dogs. For example, she could search online or find some animal books or magazines at the library or bookstore. This is important because the animal shelter would probably want to hire volunteers that have some basic information of animals, such as the different breeds and how they behave. Secondly, I'd suggest that she could spend some time with some friends who have pet dogs or cats. This would be great because in this way she could get a feel for how she should behave around them more effectively. Last but not least, I think it would be great to visit a vet clinic because they could enlighten her with some important information about cats and dogs, particularly the type of vaccinations they require, allergies, and how to prevent them. Overall, I think the best advice is to definitely have a compassionate and nurturing spirit towards animals, because this would enable her to always feel excited about volunteering, and the animals would love her back since they have a strong sense for how people feel, especially dogs and cats. Okay, so everyone, there you go. I did it in a minute and a half. There was something here, require allergies and how to prevent them over here. And also, again, everyone, this is just an example. There's lots of good things that we can get from here. And 7/8, again, you don't need this strong answer exactly, but use some of the languages here, the structure. And level nines, I would say that definitely we need more ideas. And if you can use some stronger vocabulary and expression, modals for sure, it would really help you get that 9 or higher. But most importantly, everyone, no matter the level, full answer, introducing and closing. We don't necessarily need this one here. I think if you don't have time, level nines could do it. Um, but it's not absolutely required to give this one. Even this here by itself, I think could be 9 or higher. It depends on how you speak it, okay? Can't make simple errors, anybody. And look at the grammar here, strong grammar language modalities. Okay, everyone, so to practice, I strongly recommend reading this answer like I did and do it as many times as you can, okay? And if you can speak this answer in a minute and a half from your knowledge, that would be great, okay? The more you practice, the better, everyone, because let's not forget, practice makes perfect. I would like to remind you that if you're looking for some more listening, reading, writing, or speaking CELPIP exam practice, then you should definitely subscribe to our CELPIP library. The CELPIP library has hundreds of examples of listening, reading, writing, and speaking, which will help you develop your score, whatever the score you need. Also, the library contains vocabulary, listening skills, reading skills, grammar, and writing skills exercises, which will really help you improve your general understanding of English and also for the exam. So, and you can purchase a 1 month pass or a 2 month or a 3 month subscription for a very low price. And of course, if you really enjoyed this content, then please like this video, share it, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way we will keep on producing more CELPIP analysis for your development. Have a great day.